Hey, there we go. Wicked, everything is working. Awesome. Still waking up, but hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Ow. Ugh. Stretching, not fun. Hey, hello, Carrie. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Apologize for not streaming yesterday, but I'm here to make up for it today. Hope you're doing well. Hello. I was just so busy yesterday. Yeah. But I've returned. Today is the day that I stream. I determined to keep my promises today. Hello. Hope you're doing well. I am so tired. Yeah. Buzz? Car? Oh. Consistent. Yeah. Just things happen and I get busy. Alright. So last time we defeated the grass gym. We just barely got through it because Soren decided to level up. And not listen to me for a bit. Yeah, that's not good. So gonna do that. Yeah, some BTTV does work, others not so much. Complications. Alright. So looking down at the objective stuff, we have to go to Hallberg. So we go this way. It's the water gym. I don't know what variants are used here because I'm... Well, that's fair. It happens. There's so many variants. Oh yeah. Also last time, we upgraded, we customized. We have customized. The Evolve Shiny is so cool. Oh dude, I know, right? I know, right? So shiny. Shiny. Think I missed the last Pokemon stream? Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Soren leveled up. We almost didn't make it through the grass gym because Soren decided not to listen to me for a bit. I also customized the character a little bit. So now I have just... I'm becoming more and more canon in this game. Kinda wish the hair would go the other way to, like, kinda wish the hair would go the other way so that it would look more like the VTuber. But oh well. I also have a varsity jacket as well. I'm still looking for, like, shoes and pants that fit, but so far this is good. Also hat. Done. I think I can use the card maker? Yeah. Okay. Background. I see no flying. SMH. What the heck? We'll go with that one, I guess. Hold on. Which one is more like flying? Eee. Looking snazzy. I'm trying to make it like as much flying as I can. Hold on. Actually, we're just gonna go with that. That looks water type. There we go, that works. Frame. Or go with that one, I guess. Hold on. Blah. Alright. Hold on. Oh yeah, I forgot that, I forgot that. That is adorable. I have not even looked at this menu. Yeah, no, I just kinda saw it while, at the opening screen. I was just kind of messing around a little bit. And, and I saw this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna do that. Oh wait, no. People must see just my eyes. My anime-esque eyes. Hold on. Just starry, starry eyes. Hold on. Nyom. Hold on. There we go. Staring off into the distance. That works. Clear coating. Record foil. We'll just do clear. Cool. There we go. Alright. Okay, now we continue. Okay, so still doing flying type. So majestic, so poetic, so beautiful. I know, right? So majestic. Right. So we got that guy. Oh. Oh yeah, Duolingo. You have to do that. I also have to do mine as well, but we ignore. No, no, no. At this point, it's just whatchamacallit, Pavlovian response? I think? I don't know. No, I don't want to battle you! No! I don't want an interview! I was trying to avoid you! Bruh. No, I don't care. I don't want to battle. I don't want to battle. Ooh. Electricity. Oh. I fear. I fear. Because I know electricity is like one. Oh. I can't run, can I? I cannot. Okay. Okay. Or just, Oh, dude, I know, right? It is just not fun. Okay, you're asleep. Good. Stay asleep, please. Oh, I hate electric types. Please. Okay. You stay asleep. Stay asleep. Okay. Yeah, no, it is so hard to avoid just random battles in this. I hate it. Okay, so their electric type stun spore won't exactly work. Gust. Go, Gerald! Yeah, know that. I hope. Yeah, good luck with Duolingo. I hope I live too. I hope so anyway. Okay, one down. Good. Thank you. Thank you for living. Okay. Okay. Yoshigi. Level up. Good. Clink. Still asleep. Awesome. Yeah, no. Headache might be good. Speed stat boosted, yes. Okay. Oh wait, no, wrong one. No. You, confusion, yes. And then you, I switch. Quick attack could be good. Headache does have more health though. because it was a headache to catch. That for a headache now. Okay. Bro, this is even more stressful than the grass gym. What the heck? Okay. Stay asleep. Shoot. No. Oh, that's like half health. No. Ugh. Lovely, amazing, wonderful, lovely, lovely, lovely. Actually, hold on. We are actually gonna go to here for the bag. Use the potion. Then that one. Scratch on the clink. Why is this more stressful than the grass gym? I don't know. That did nothing. Oh, okay. Lovely. Back for now, hey, welcome back. Still doing the same battle, still stressing out. Still stressed. So much stress. I might have to get Soren back in. I'm doing what I might go back and do more later if I remember. That's fair. You gotta remember. Gotta remember. Yeah, just Soren, get back here. Shiny. Look at the shiny. Shiny. Shine. Okay. I can't remember how much moves charge. Why is that your only thing? Okay, we're good. Why is it critical hit? Bruh. Okay. 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 This one again? To equal the user's HP. Okay, it's probably not good then. You... hiccups. Rock Smash? Okay, good. Okay, super effective, good. Please die. Thank you. Okay. We're good. Okay. Okay. Got a few level ups. Soren wants to move. Going to move taunt? No. 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 Cool. Penny Pigeon. Cool, also level up. Okay. What a credible potential. Sure. Even though I'm only using flying type, sure, we'll go with that. I lost to something that enemy was ruined? Yes. That means that you cannot post any of it. Nothing. No more. None. Okay, I should probably go on back over here. Heal up. Also, someone is mowing their lawn. Why? I mean, I guess I can see why, but still. Oh, I know electro types are gonna be my downfall in this challenge. Just electro type. Plus, I'm over-leveled like, quite a bit. I do need. There's still a few types that I want to get. I don't care. I don't care about the rare Pokemon. Leave me be. I do not care. I care not. Leave me alone. Thank you. Let's see, there's a fighting. Okay. Skrillex I think is a just fairy. Do I draw or play Sims while watching stream? Up to you. Oh wait, Drifloon. Is that... Hold on. I'm gonna catch you. I'm also gonna catch that Farfetch'd as well. one? Okay. Wonderful. Flip a coin? Oh my god! Oh yeah, psychic, that's why. That's why. I forgot about that. And a bit flip a coin. Oh, something that one missed. Good thing I'm not doing Nuzlocke. Oh wait, hold on. Tiny pigeon. Yes, no, I want this Drifloon. Normal flying. Cool. You're in charge, tiny pigeon. You're adorable. You have no thoughts behind your eyes. Critical hits hit them more easily. It should be good. Okay. Oh, we're gonna do another air cutter. Hey, back. Okay, cool. Must be a dark type. Should be enough? Hit. Can't remember. No! Just stay in the ball. Please and thank you. Oh my god! I am so underleveled. I need more levels. Oopsies. Cool. Ah. L. Okay, and then air cut. Okay, cool. Should be enough? Flip coin for drawing and then turn on my iPad in my room. Oh no! No, the pencil! Bad. So much sadness. Hey. I guess that means that you'll have to, thinking is not my strong suit. Play Sims, maybe? Gerald wants to learn move Psybeam. Sure. Read it. May leave the target confused. I see. We're gonna get rid of Test. Sims in time being. Yeah, just while. Oh my god! It's okay, something just fell, but it's all good though. Yeah! I heard! I'm not gonna lie, I can only imagine just how much they, they just had to, like, not laugh while singing just gibberish. Or if they had to sing just a specific set of gibberish. Cause if I was a singer and I was gonna be playing The Sims and I had to do, like, a Simish cover, it would be so difficult for me not to laugh. I would laugh. Ooh, you are flying. Cool. Awesome. Yes, we're gonna give you a name. What do I name the balloon Pokemon? What will be your name? His name. For flying. I vaguely remember Wilbur talking about something ages. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's also like been a while too. But yeah, look how far they've come. Look at that. The music is now in The Sims. Let's go. I forgot that my cat was just asleep behind me. He's just all curled, little tiny snores. Yeah. Just little tiny snores. Adorable, and I love it. And she is just out. Oh, dude, same. It's like, what? Just like, double check, triple check. What? What? Eee, the cat. She's sleepy. She's a sleepy kitty cat. What do I name the drift? I'll have to think about this more. I'm not gonna lie, I've been avoiding The Sims 4 because I know for a fact that, that I would just not be heard from again if I downloaded The Sims 4. Or just got back into it. Because I remember having The Sims on GameCube, which can tell you just how old I am if I remember The Sims on GameCube. GameCube. I had a lot of fun though, it was very fun. Got almost 5,900 hours on it. Ooh, nice. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. Ooh, I know what I'm gonna call the Drift Bloom. I know what I'm gonna call the Blimp. Blimp. Let's see. What are we gonna add to my party? Psychic. I might have to get rid of Gerald. Got like 246 days in it or something. Nice. That's awesome. Also old. Leave me be. Also, I'm not that old. Still in my 20s. But technically not old. I think I'm gonna get rid of Gerald. Gerald is going into the box. Gerald has been boxed. Okay, also I don't know what the Farfetch'd may be flying as well. Ball. Oh, there we go, revive. And 30 default that. And then a few potions for Blimp. And one more. Not really even an adult. I mean, that's fair. Go. Should be good. You can. Wild Farfetch'd. So angry. Okay. Farfetch'd level 20. Ah, L. Confusion. Oh. Oh wait, are you a fighting type? Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. Is the Farfetch'd a fighting flying type too? Oh my god, don't die. I want to catch you to see if you're flying. Don't you dare die. Stay in the ball. Stay in the ball. Don't you dare. Oh my god. Don't you dare die. Don't you dare die. Oh, okay. Blimp. You come here. You stay there. Stay. Okay. Farfetch, stay Stay in the ball. Stay. Bruh. Okay. Normal, I think? Okay, I'm still gonna catch him. Because I don't remember. Weird because technically 16 is an adult here because you can leave school legally at 16 and what Scottish thingy, so eh. It's hard to say. Stay in the ball, please. Oh my god! Don't! Ah. I see. Mm-hmm. Alright, hold on, just give me a second. Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's just fighting. At least now we know. Still mad, though. Yeah, I guess. Still would've been nice to catch, though. Okay, hold on, Whoa! No! No! Oh, whoa! Away with you. Away with you. Hold on. You give me things. Give me things. Give me things. Well, I guess not then. Fine. Nope. I set up camp right here. Okay, so that's 2. 1 for there. And then 1 for there. Cool. Alright, and then we just set up camp. Look at him go. It's okay, Magikarp. It's okay, you'll one day be able to fly, just like the rest of them. I still feel so bad for you. Hello. You, come here. Come here. I feel bad for you. Hold on. Come here. Hi, how are you? Hold on. Yes, come here. Seems to be worried about its surroundings. Oh my god, you're levitating. I wonder why. Hold on. Yeah, he looked very sad, and now he's just kind of flying. I think he's just learned from the team. Wants more attention? Okay. What's up? Bit bored? Alright, tell me more. Not interested in the bird. That's fair. Wants more attention? Okay. Bit bored? Okay, how about play? Just following the brethren. You, get back here. 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 Come on, tackle. Tackle. There we go. Again. Come on, we're training you up. We're training you up to fly. You can be the best Gyarados. I still don't know how Gyarados is just water flying, like, at all. But I guess. Cool. Again, one more time. Come on. Come on, one more. Cool. Right? It still just startles me whenever it just flies like this. It's just staring. Okay, go. Go get it. Cool. Awesome. Okay, and now go that way. Oh my god! Headache is just flying like crazy. Oh. Blimp stole the ball. Blimp, how could you? Okay. Bit nervous? Wants to play with the Pokemon? No. No, No. Attack. Attack, attack. Yes, get mad, get mad, get mad, get mad. Wicked. Again. I don't know why, but just seeing just the Magikarp in the background just flopping about while everyone is just kind of flying everywhere is just a little bit funny to me. Oh! Hi you, how are you? You doing good? Hope you're doing well. Hello. Oh, come on, you almost got it. Come on, one more time. Oh, come on, again. Come on, come on. Yes, good, good, good. Again. Oh, come on, almost got it. Come on, again. Yes, good, 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 good. Alright. Now we do some cooking. Do a little bit of cooking. Pre-cooked burger or fried food? We also have apples. We have a lot of apples. I want to do burger. Alright. Sounds good. Please select a berry. Sourness. Sour. Unusual. We're gonna add that one and that one. Cool. Now we start cooking. Sour burger. Just do some cooking in order to feed all the Pokemon. Cool. And it's done. Wicked. The Magikarp is flying. Ooh, burger steak curry. Nice. That does look really good though. The Woobat is... It looks so dumb and I love him. Ooh, Wobbuffet class. Nice. Restored by half. Pokemon gain some XP. Nice. Alright. And then there's Soren. Then there's you and you. Tiny pigeon over there. Alright. Now we leave. Hey, tiny pigeon. Leveled up again. Nice. Where is everyone? I have a feeling that I'll need to have people at least at like... I think I have some X stuff. Yes, cool. Right. Who's like down here? 17, nice. Good. No, Park is kind of caught up now. I really use like a good majority of these on Park because of Gyarados. Nope. I would just do that. Much. 19. Okay. That's good. Then all that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We're gonna go this way instead of going that way. I did it! Bruh. I didn't want to battle you. Leave me be. Leave me be. Do it. Ah! I love little apple guy. Little apple guy. I love. You have grass dragon. The hiccups. Well. Yep. Oh yeah, psychic. There we go. Wicked. No more apple. Even though you're adorable, I apologize. Okay. Defeated the cook. Yeah, you should've. Okay. Where Pokemon hoard the food, yes. Hey, hello Carrie! Oh. Hello Clay, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. How you been? Hello, hello. Apologies for not streaming yesterday. But I was busy. But I'm streaming today. Make up for it. I know that this is where I get, like, a good poison type Pokemon. But I can't use it. I feel bad because I can't use it. Because it's not flying, but it is a good Pokemon though. Ugh. I know, right? It's so cute! It's adorable! But I can't use them! I can't use the baby. I can't have the baby with me. Just sadness. Just so much sadness because I can only use flying type. But this one does not turn into any flying type. I feel bad. I know, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. The child has to go into the box. The child has to go into the box. I'm so sorry. Sadness. Maybe in another universe I would have the little Taxel baby in my party. But I cannot. In this universe at least. Level 20, are you gonna evolve? Yes! Yes! Gyarados, Gyarados, Gyarados. I still do not understand how you are a water flying instead of a water dragon. Yay! The fish is getting strong. Can now officially join the team. Yeah, see, I don't understand just how Gyarados. I mean, okay, I guess that makes sense. Alright. Has an extremely aggressive nature. The Hyper Beam mist shoots from its mouth. It totally incinerates all targets. Lovely. Well, it's a good thing we were nice to him. Or... Yee. Oh, Sparkler and Bite. Oh no. Ow. Cool. Right. Hey, welcome back, Carrie. You missed the park learning in turning into a Gyarados. Got water? Yo, water is very good. Okay, so we got a good strong one. Got a good one. Also, Sims is gonna take 2 hours? Oh no. Oof. Oh. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. What move? Tackle and Bite. Can't win. Okay. Oh, it's okay. Pat, pat, pat. Just have to wait just like a tiny time. Go slap. Cannot learn that. Okay. But throw a swing. Stay back. Using moves after the target, this attack power will be double. Well, I'm playing Sun and Moon all over again and my— oh, I know, right? The Pokemon can be so annoying. just a tiny bit. Just tiny bit. Itty bitty bit. Yeah. Oh. Team Yell again. They're trying to steal my bike. Some of be in your debt. I'm confused at what's going on, but okay. It has been a while since I played Sun and Moon. Oh, I just realized I have so many shiny Pokemon that need to transfer over in Sun and Moon. I need to transfer over so many Pokemon. Ah, is you. Big dragon. Yeah, okay. Come on, Park, we need to get you to level up. Like. Bad. Like 10 Pokeballs, or Mega Balls, to finish this. Oof. Yeah, and catching Pokemon, especially in Sun and Moon, can be a little bit— evil. That's a duck type, if I remember correct. It'd be fighting. How many fighting? Now they're slowing down, be very careful. Yeah. You know, it's just a little bit too annoying in Sun and Moon. Alright. Come on, Zoran. Still tired. Still trying to wake up. Ah. Marna. Something I really did like about Sun and Moon, though, was how instead of like having Pokemon learn HMs and everything, you just summon Pokemon. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's very nice of it. Soren, you need to stop leveling up, please. Please and thank you. Especially when you're on like a back of a Tauros and you just like zoom like that. Oh yeah, very much easy. Oh, again. No. Away with you. Okay. Oh, I guess. Ah. Yeah! The Tauros is a lot of fun. Let's see. Character. You know, Violet would be the only thing I can really attack with. I don't think very effective. Yeah, not very effective. But Park does need more levels. So again, replay. Yeah, one more time. How could you? Fine then. See how it is. Ability, no. Maybe Tiny Pigeon, because I'm pretty sure that I have the Ghost Gym Leader, I think. At least. I don't remember Blimp being here. Oh yeah, I just caught Blimp. Just today. You're good, no worries. Like, just caught him. Bruh! Yeah, no worries, you didn't miss much. We're just currently on our way to the water gym leader with Nessa. I like Nessa. Nessa's very good. I still had to figure out... Whew, level up. Okay, 21 and 19. Okay, does that mean that tiny pigeon? Yellow belly. The puns. I'm just ignoring you. Why do the bad guys look so old though? I have no idea. I think it's just how the way they look. Or just the makeup they have? Maybe? I have no... Wait, why did you just give me your bike? Dude, I hope you have another bike. Wait, hold on, there's shinies here. I did you put the bike in the bag? I'm so very confused. Where are the shinies? I'm looking for the shinies. Hello, how are you? I'm dealing since I cannot draw. Pat, Carrie. He's okay. Just little doodles. Soon you'll be able to either doodle or sim, or draw or sim. Okay, Carrie. Pat. Look. Oh yeah, that's where the dragon is. Where are you flying for? I think that there's one fairing flame. You want a creature? Sure. I guess. Creature. A creature. Oh, no! Up. Why? You'll join the creature club? Yeah, sure, why not? Might as well. Yo, the creatures. Yeah. If you want to. Sound good. But let me heal everyone back up, I guess. But just gonna do all that. Got a creature or plant creature? I'm gonna stay on brand and say shadow creature. You know, I don't... How did I get the bike in the bag? I don't... I save. Alright. Alright, Hup. I guess we battle again. I suppose. I guess. The 3 Pokemon, so I'm guessing Lulu, Wolfform or Groki, and then Stomach? Unsure. Okay. Then bite. Nom nom. Agreed. Carrie's very cool. It is very cool. Burn. Oh, Hobby's using potions! Huh. Oh, all the way back to full. Alright. Done. Back down you go. next, if it's not Scorponite, I will have to switch to different. Because grass. Yeah, Corvus Squire. Petro Pet. You're very cool, Gary. Corvus Squire. Still flying, so I should be good with keeping Arc out. Even though I really want to send in my Corvus Squire as well. So I can just show off, just look, Corvus Squire shiny. Aha. You wish your Corvus Squire was as cool. Ow. It's flying type on flying type violence. Somehow, yeah. Ow. Somehow. Okay, now I will need to change Pokemon. Ooh, cool. Okay, we got a few level ups, that's good. Waterfall, you say? Ooh, nice. Soren, please stop leveling up, I beg. Wacky. Okay. Yep, we switch, because that's grass. Maybe. Oh, actually, Blunt might be best because I think Wacky will be at level 20 here. Might be a good idea. Remind me, I'm just fumbling to myself. Back. Eee. Okay. That is condition. We'll see. Okay. So then it should do more damage then. Nah, not much left. Okay. Shadow Ball. Mercy. Okay. That does a lot of damage. Nice. Ooh, and a critical hit. Up, I like you. I'm so sorry I have to do this to you. The hiccups. The hiccups. That's fun. Shadow Ball one more time. That should be good. Go. So let's level up for 3 Pokemon. A Tiny Pigeon might evolve. This entire challenge is just you being cruel to absolute baby. it is not. No. No. It's not. No. 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 I am not cruel to the children. Only sometimes. It is not. Me trying to figure out how to get through everything with flying. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, God. Try it even harder. Ooh, revive, thank you. Wait. Hop, are you sure that you don't want this for your Pokemon? Wait, Hop, come back. Your Pokemon, please. Use this for your Pokemon. Well, Hop's gone. Oh well. Just picking up shinies, picking up shinies. And yes, I am a bird, because shinies. On PC and it says update will now take around 50 minutes. Nice! Let's go. Cut down on so much time. Very nice. Cut down on a lot of time. I must be like a bird Pokemon and spot all the shit. Hold on, are you flying? I can't remember if you're just grass, if you're only grass, or just flying. Can't remember. Tell me. Tell me. No. It's so cute. I don't know. It's very cute. It's very adorable. Ah. Gyarados has fallen asleep. Mark, wake up. Hold on. And honestly, I have no idea. They're very adorable, and I love them so much. So cute. Are there any specific details about your Sona? Blue rose. And if hair, also short and blue. Kind of like how this VTuber is with like the little shiny, yep. With a little, shadow guy as well. But mostly just blue rose. That's about it. That's like the major thing at least. That's the one thing that will stay consistent. Alright, maybe we'll do it? Feed harsh the foe, bite. Get down to half. I do not know if you are flying. We will see. Human elf. Oh, technically elf? Yeah, not exactly human, just pointy ears. On be like really specific. Yeah, like half elf. If I was able to, like with the like you know how some people draw like bird humans with like the feathered ears, like that. Hey, son of a tiefling. But that'd be really cool. But also that too, like tiefling would be really cool. Sona as like just I can't remember what they're called. It's not the Aarakocra. Not the Aarakocra. So that's like fully bird. Like half bird. Asmer? Maybe? Can't remember. But yeah. I forget the name too, but I know it starts with like an A-E-S. M-I-R, I think? I know it's for like A-E. Are we talking birds? I zoned out. Cause Sona. Sona with D&D. Would either be like tiefling with blue skin, or the people with wings but not the Aarakocra or bird people. But yeah, that's pretty much why. I'm sorry, I like birds. Leave me be. I like the bird. I am also just very much like bird. I remember when I would play Minecraft and I would just constantly just find a way to be on top of trees and just to be and just perch. That's about it. Bird. Yay. Just bird. Mostly offliners or distance-to-pay. For 7. It was fun while it lasted. I might maybe play Minecraft if I figure out if my PC can handle it. Modded Minecraft not so much. Maybe like NCCI. Maybe. Possibly. Also because MCCI now has like Parkour Warrior, you can do it solo if you want. I won't lie. The reason why I woke up so late was mostly because I stayed up. Just doing the parkour. It was very fun. Also, this Pokemon is annoying. Why are you just so much trouble? Bruh. Just, please. Stay in the ball, please, and thank you. Bruh. Ah. Ah. I should have kept Gerald. I should have kept Gerald. Stay in the ball, please. Thank you. This Pokemon, I swear. Stay. Bruh! Evero? Maybe? I'm going to look that up. V-A-R-I-E. That sounds almost right? Hold on. Stay in the ball, please. Thank you. Hold on. D&D, A-V-A-R-I-E-L. Yeah! I'm not glad. I completely forgot that that existed. It's like a winged elf. I completely forgot that existed. Yeah, no, that's like 100% just my Sona though. Like 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's just winged elf. Yeah, no, that's like 100%. Oh, there goes the tiny pigeon. Or 7 tiny pigeons. I'm catching this Pokemon now. Catching this Pokemon now. Is Alpha Gnomes. That's fair. Honestly, that is very fair. Now you stay in the ball, please. I beg. Stay. Bruh. Ah! You just know the Pokeball itself? Come on. Come on, man. Done. Heal, friend, come here. Okay, what about a heal ball? Will you stay in for a heal ball? I guess not. I guess not then. Well then, I see. This Pokemon is causing me... This Pokemon doesn't want to be caught. I'm about to cause crimes. crimes will be committed if you don't stay in the ball. Thank you. No crimes will be committed. No crimes. All good. Okay, cool. Level up for headache. Nice. I'm guessing you're just grass type. Yeah, kinda figured. You're sure it's not a crime? Like, 90% positive. positive. Do you move? Do you move? Better not. You do move! Anything can be a crime if you try hard enough. Yeah! That's very true. That's very true. Does this work in reverse? Not a clue. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Can murder become legal if I try very hard? Probably not. Yeah, no, probably not. I won't lie. Just probably not. I don't know if there's a workaround. I don't know about that. Wait. There might be. There might be if you become a cop. I mean, who said that? Who said that? I said nothing. I said nothing. I said nothing. I said nothing. The legal system needs to be worked out so badly. Who said that? Must have been the wind. Who said that? Ooh. I don't care about the rare Pokemon. Oh, that's crazy. Who said that? Who? That must have been the wind. The wind speaks truth, though. So many things must be done. So many things must be rewritten. I mean, who said that? Vale, I think you're getting hacked. Weird voices are coming out of your little guy. Oh no. I have dead stream now. Yeah, must have been the clouds. Must have gotten hacked. I guess I'll have to end stream now just to figure out what was going on. Oh. 32. Nowhere else to go for 10 as well. Thank you. I don't know what. No, it's okay. Let the hacker speak. So true. So true. Such the hacker must speak. Okay. Let the hacker cook. Oh, is that? Why are some of the people NPCs just fashion disasters? Like, dude, you need a better disguise than just that. I don't know if they dress very well. I don't know about that, but I know that Rose needs wardrobe update just a little bit. As you were, I know that. Thankfully, that's not Leon. It's Rose, but it's still just like definitely needs a wardrobe update. Look at his shorts and old man shoes. Yeah, look. Rose and Leon are friends, I can't think otherwise. Yeah, they bond over just how horribly they can dress themselves. He has an anklet? Wait, he does? Oh gods, he does. I didn't realize that. Why does he have an anklet? What? Okay. He's like the cops are trying to blend in. So true, just like, hello, fellow youngsters. Like, bruh. Oh, ouch. Dude. Even the chairman forgot you, even though he was the one to endorse you. Ouch. Everyone knows who he is. Was he even? Yeah, that's supposed to be that's supposed to be a disguise, I guess. I guess. It's no. It's definitely not working out. Wait, hold on. Who is? He's going to a restaurant. I know they don't even try to fool you. They just go, "This is Rose, by the way." Yeah. Went to a restaurant, needs to be undercover. He should pick a better outfit. Also, who is that behind? Rose. Rose, leave. I want to know who the other person is. Yes, more anklets. Just from the ankle all the way up to the knee. Oh, I want to talk to the assistant. Let me talk to the assistant. It's pretty. No, come, please. Yay! You look very pretty. I like you. Leglets. Yes. Yay! It sucks that she might be evil too. But she's very pretty. I like her. I'm just admiring her. Very pretty. No, come back. Oh. Sadness. She's left. Can I talk to you? Get your water about it once. I will. I'm just admiring. Maybe Rose saw Leon and thought that's how youngsters dress now. I mean, to be honest, probably. Probably, yeah. Ooh! Ball. Gel ball. Restores a little HP every time and inflicts damage on others. Nice. And I think I might have that for Park. As if I can't have... Alright. Oh, so that guy just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Yep, they're so silly. Electric type. No. Oh. Doubles any prize money received if the holding. That's actually pretty good. Nah. Wait, hold on. Was the bird? Hold on. Bird? Bird? Rose, sea, wave, rock, odd, lax. No bird. There's none for birds. Sad. There's rose, sea, wave, rock, odd, and lax. And full. Pure, and sadly none for birds. The mage. Herbs. Herbs. Been seeing wave, not a single clue. Yeah. Wait, are they bird shaped? Oh, they are! They are bird shaped. I like them. What is the difference between sea and wave? They have a slightly different hue. I guess. I guess. Yeah, no, there's literally nothing. Like, it has like a slightly different hue for the icon, but other than that, nothing. Nothing. They both cost the exact same too. One of those could have been air. Yeah. Yeah, it's wasted potential. Like, the wave one could have been something for the air. Like, bruh, come on. Wasted potential, SMH. You're not getting any of my money. No money for you. Suffer, L. Airway. Hold on. Don't mind me, just breaking into your house, looking at things. Thank you. See, airwave. So true. Hold on. Breaking into your house. Hold on. Breaking into your house. Looking at things. Do you have anything for me? Do you have anything for me? Oh, hello. Yes. You will get more Pokemon, you have shiny things. Oh my god, that's so creepy. Pokemon NPCs are just asking to be robbed, honestly. Yeah, no, that's very true. We're taking care of the house while mom and dad are out. It's hiding, but my Pokemon is here to help too. What do you mean hiding? What other Pokemon do you have here? What other Pokemon? What other Pokemon? I forgot to ask, what is your Sona wearing? Oh, it's, it is, what is the Pokemon hide? I have no clue, and I worry just a little bit. Obviously. Oh, shiny! Nice. But my Sona is wearing the sneak hoodie from Gen Lost episode 1. If you look up like blue hoodie men's, you'll be able to find it on Amazon. I want to talk to you. And I just have it for my son because it just looks so comfy. And I also may or may not be getting an IRL too. Because it does look so comfy. And you can get it. You can get it on Amazon. For a decent amount of money. For a very decent amount of money. Hold on. So if... I'm just gonna double check this. Amazon. Yes, if you look up blue and white hoodie men's, it will be, at least on the US Amazon page, it's like in the second row. You have to scroll down a little bit. But just literally just search blue and white hoodie men's, and then you'll be able to find it. It's a very decent price too. You found it? Nice! Third up. Hey! You still found it. Let's go. Oh, hello. It's hard to tell if a whooper is male or female. Can you do it? Oh my god. Ah! Wait, hold on. Isn't the little... Oh yeah, no. It's this one. No, this one is female. Yeah, no, it's... it's very easy to find. Hello. The minor division? What do you mean minor division? Oh. Problem solved. Done. Thing here. Oh yeah! Unova. Oh, speaking of Unova region. Speaking of. I've heard rumors. Fairly reliable rumors. Although take it with a grain of salt. Just a grain of salt. They might be working on just a the words are difficult today, oh boy. A Pokemon Legends game for the Unova region, which I am really excited for. because the Unova region is like my favorite region. Like, it is like my favorite region out of all of them. Ow. I hit the mic again. And I, again, take it with a grain of salt. It may be it, it may not be it. But with how well Pokemon Arceus was, Pokemon Legends Arceus did, I have no doubt that they are gonna do Pokemon Legends with the like more Pokemon Legends. I mean, words. It would get very depressed if it's not true. Oh, don't worry, I will too. I would get so depressed you won't see me for like a month. That would just go MIA. Just no more. You will see me no more. Shiny. Just grieving. Just sadness. Also, I have no idea how I saw that shiny out of the corner of my eye. No idea. Nessa! Hello! Hi, Nessa! You were very pretty. Hello. Hello. You're very pretty. Push her off? No, I will not. Never. If it was Rose, absolutely. If it was Rose, I would absolutely do that. I'm so gay and in love. Honestly, same. I'm also gay. Just character designs, they're so pretty. Oh no. She's very pretty. No, Nessa, come back. Ooh! A thing. Electric move. Could I use it for one of my Pokemon? I cannot. Hello? I swear, it's always a motorcycle person, like, at the exact same time, every day. Oh no, absolutely. They just went all out with a woman and everything. And then just looked at them and it's just like, we'll just do that, there you go. Also, she was so romantic. So true, so true. Okay, if 50-50. Yeah. Like, good enough. Water. Yeah, bead. Yeah. 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 Yeah, bead. Hey, oof. And it's only a massive coat. It's nothing else. Just a coat. I think I'm gonna give this one to Park. I think for a lot of this we're gonna be relying on Park. Hold on. I have to see what other flying types I have. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay. So I have chips. That's also water as well. Hiccups. Yeah, no other... Oh, besides this one. Okay. Wait, hydration? Wait, hold on. What does hydration do? No status conditions if it's raining. That might be good. Ugh. See what else? No, that's... Ah, hiccups! Ah! I can't wait to talk. To trash talk. Ah! Characters for their clothes? Oh no, same. Oh, water time. Okay, will do. Probably couldn't come at a better time. Cure the hiccups. Ah! Hold on. One moment. Water. Ugh. I even have like a full water bottle near me too. Hopefully that worked. We'll see. Alright, that didn't work. Hold on. Give me a moment. Gonna try again. Hold on. Hiccups. Hold on. Give me a moment. I think that worked. Hopefully. There we go. Okay. I think we're good now. Okay. 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 No more hiccups. We're good. Okay. Honestly, I think this might be the best that we can do. Although I feel like I should maybe level up everyone just a little bit. Only if you can breathe while drinking water. I mean, some can. I think. Although I think that's also just called drowning. I don't know. And I'm gonna level up just a little bit. Maybe? I have no idea. I don't know. Okay, hold on. We are gonna level up a tiny bit, at least until level 20. Breathe while drinking the water will just go into your lungs. Into the lungs. Drowning. Fine. I guess I'll beat you. It's like no taking pauses while drinking. Oh, poison! I have a feeling that, I'm just gonna do this. I get poisoned. Effective. Okay, cool. It doesn't have poison point. Wicked. Oh, I see. That's bird behavior. I feel a little bit called out because that's kind of what I do. Just kind of store it in my mouth. Bird behavior. Bruh. They just can't beat the allegations. Cannot beat the bird allegations. Okay, Showbell good. Hard. The birdigations. So true. So I take meds, just keep water in the mouth and pop the pill in. Yeah, that's fair. What's up, Gary? Everything good? Everything good? You okay? Did you just coo? Mayhaps. I do it from time to time. Hey, speaking of the goo! Tiny Pigeon is evolving. You really are a bird. Bruh, no! Leave me be! Bruh. The tiny pigeon evolved into big pigeon. What do you mean? Leave me be. It is not a pigeon. It is a pigeon. Fighting. Don't worry about the Pokemon's bad points. I mean, that's fair. Not a pigeon. Sounds like a pigeon to me. Yeah, the shadow bird. Oh, adorable. Oh wait, you're grass. Oh no, you're grass. Oh no no no. No 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 no. Oh no. Just die please. You're trying to make us think that you're half bird, half elf, but you're just a pigeon. No, the secrets. The secrets. The secrets. No more secrets. In prison? What's in prison? Hold on. In prison. Policing Pokemon knows any move, also known by the user. They are prevented from using it. Nah. I'm good. Woobat! That is psychic. Should be good with the dark type move. Woo! 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 Oh. Goodbye, bat. No more bat. Woobat or Zubat, which one is better? Ooh. Hard to say because Zubat does evolve eventually into Crobat, which in my opinion is really really good, and it has a special place in my heart for it. However, Swoobat is adorable. Its nose looks like a heart, and it is adorable. That has it going for it as well. But honestly, Zubat is a little bit more, in my opinion, because of, Crobat. That's about it, though. That's about it. Ah! Thank you. 3 special attacks, okay. Level 22. My opinion is valid, let's go. And then Soren will probably be like a emergency option. Okay. Go. Soren will be emergency. Alright, let's go. Water gym time. Water. 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 Can't get rid of the shiny. Nope. The shiny's the ace. However, it doesn't like to listen to me sometimes. So, can't get rid of the shiny, can't get rid of the ace. But it just... Sometimes the shiny just doesn't like to listen. Oh! All guy. Pokeball? Ooh, Lure Ball. That you reel... Good for catching Pokemon that you reel in with a rod while out fishing. Oof. Oh, you see here, I'm only going for bird Pokemon, so I can't really use this, but thank you. Looks like a mannequin. Yeah. What is that dance? Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's just mascot thing, I think. You know, just plays Fortnite. wait, yes. Can I change? Wait. Yes. Can I wear it? Can I wear it? Can I wear it? Can I wear it? I want to wear. I want to wear. I want to wear. Let me wear it. Let me wear it. Yes, I'm good. Let me wear it. Let me wear it. Can't ride a bicycle. Bird, hold on. How? I'm forgetting. Hold on. No, I want the bird uniform. Hold on. I want to wear it when you fight in battle thing? Maybe. Hold on. I'm double checking something. Double checking something. No. What? Nope. Hold on. Hold on. Where's your shop? Okay, so I can go there now. That's good, that's good. Let's go back here, because I know that there are shops. Burn. Okay. Then over here... Go into here. Training room. Okay. Okay, there's that. Cool. I like sport. Okay. Just all flying type. Yes. Good. Good. I do need a new backpack and also a new hat. Yeah, we'll wear glasses. Why not? Okay. Yes. Yes. Update. Okay. Now everyone will know that I only have flying type. Only flying type Pokemon in my party. Alright. Alright, let's see. Hopefully I can keep it. I hope. Hopefully. Alright. Let's go. There's a flying taxi. Yeah! Yeah! There is. That's how you get from place to place. In Sword and Shield, at least. Wait. Ah! No. Save. Thank you. Instead of using your own Pokemon to fly, you use a taxi service. Wait, hold on. Did it change this too? Oh my god, it did. Oh, also, if you didn't know, the number, the 821, that is the national dex number for the Rookity. Which is my quote-unquote starter Pokemon for this challenge. Okay. Nerd. I am a nerd. I am a nerd. I'm a rather big nerd. Yes, thank you for noticing. Alright, I have 3, probably gonna get like 2 more. Maybe like 2 awakenings as well? Oh, hold on, Gary. I don't know what Automod, you know, I don't see anything on mod set, I'm sorry. Pet. It's just okay. It was funny too. Oh no. I don't. I also misspelled. Aw, sad. Pet. Maybe there's a way that you can reword it? Maybe? Unsure. Oh wait, maybe I can't... Pet. Yes, very wise. Oh well. The numbers, so because it looks like a certain word. Lovely. Oh my god, I just got it. That's fair. No, don't let me change. No! Bruh! Let me have the flying uniform. Please. I beg. It's another word for chest of the female variety, or female at birth variety, or assigned female at birth variety, if that makes sense. Yeah, another word for that. Alright. Gonna be... I forgot that was a word for it. That is completely fair. Ah, puzzles. Okay. I'll translate. Yeah! It's also a name of a bird as well. Is the plural band too? Not a clue. Unsure. Uncertain. Oh, there we go. Apparently not. Well. Ah! They're gonna be relying a lot on the Gyarados. Oh, we'll see how this goes. Ready to bask in the beauty of water types? Sure. If you want to just be... just assaulted by flying type Pokemon, let's go. There's so many flying type Pokemon. Only flying type. Also you look weird. Those eyebrows. Yeah, I don't know why they look like that. I just don't know. Like it's sound is cute, but the way it looks, not so much. Just no. No. There. The motorcycle returns. What the heck? Bruh. Oh. Okay. All done. Yeah, Park just went how. Ow. Just had a little snack. Okay, okay. Oh, I see now. Okay. I see. Well, I guess we have to fight that person over there. Alright. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, probably. Go around it. Oh yeah, there's absolutely enough space to go around it. Gym trainer Heather. Crab. Crab. The crab. The crab. Amazing. Bite. Just go hum. Nope. Park is just getting a lot of snacks today. Crab. No, I'm gonna be relying a lot on Gyarados, I think. Or just on Park. Just so much. Crab. Crab, crab. Okay, okay, okay. There we go. Cool. Crab. And cool, Soren leveled up. Oh boy. Goldfish. Lobster. Crab and lobster. What's the name for the hands of crabs? Pincers. The little pincers. It's crab and lobster. Lobster and crab. Yeah. Pincers. The park, get out of the water! Oh wait, you're water type. Kinda can't, sorry. E. Pincers is a silly word. Or pinchers? I like pincers. Okay, and then this one. Change that. Oh, this one to change with that. There we go. Okay. Then we go this way. Then we have to hit the blue. And then we hit the red. And this way? Nope. Not that way. This way. Yes. Cool. Oh. Ah. And do that. Ah. Oh. Or maybe not. Whoops. Ow. Ow. Ah! She did not do a good job at doing her job. Yeah, no, she really didn't. And she only just now saw me. Like, just now. Jinxed it. Just a tiny bit, it's all good. Ah, the piranha. Piranha. That's okay, just another snack for Park. What kind of wings? You know, magpie wings. Like, kind of like a dark, but it has, not pigeon. Like, you know how magpie wings look? Not pigeon, no! No! Just little magpie wings. Because they're like kind of black, but they also have like a iridescent blue shine, I think. At least, yee! I love magpies too. They're amazing. Even though they like, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there was in your garden? Nice! You know, they're very territorial, but they also love shinies. Which, yeah. This is also me. Very, very much me. Just anything shiny I see and I take and I grab and it's mine. The little collectors. Yeah, the thief of birds. Pretty much. The turtle. Turtle! Itty bitty turtle! No, they just take. They just go, yoink, mine now. Water. That did not do anything. Ah. So if you want to do wings that are different than a magpie, then a peregrine falcon. They look so cool and I love them. They're like my favorite birds. They are the fastest birds. They just go zoom. They zoom. They just zoom. Yeah, magpie, and then peregrine falcon. Yes. Just that. The creature doodling. La creatura. Wait, this way. Right? Yes? Aha! Yes. Wicked. And then I go this way. Then I do this. And then I do this. Cool. Alright. I did it. Wait. Hold on, I'm gonna... Okay. Cool. Everything is all good. We go this way. We go to the top. Let's go. Applause. Round of applause. Hiccups. Now we go this way. And now we go face to face with Nessa. Hello, Nessa. You're very pretty. Hello. I still really like her hair. Her hair is amazing. What I give to be face to face with Nessa? Dude, same. Nessa's so pretty! But we're fine. Losing this. Honestly, probably. just gonna throw the match because of just gay panic. But dude, she's really pretty though. She's very pretty. Oh, here we go again with the gym music. Yay. Hello, Nessa. The big fish versus little fish. You threw the ball in such a cool way. Dude, I know, right? So cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of just jamming. Goldine is no more. Is her hair just kind of flowing in the wind? It is. The wind is making her be more cool. What the heck? Flowing like the waves. Oh, so true. So true. Aracuda. Is that a water dart? Where's the wind coming from? I have no idea. Hold on, I'm gonna double check. What is Aracuda? Aracuda Pokemon. I think it's just water. Okay. So just water. Our waves. It's okay, pet. Okay. So it's just water. Blend might be able to take care of it, just to give Park a little bit of a rest at least. To be fair, English is not fun. Carrie, it's okay. It's okay, pet. It's okay. Ooh, what kind of cake? Wait, hold on, Carrie, wait, what kind of cake? I must know. Oh, that does a lot of damage. Nice. Oh, it's also super effective. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh, nice. You know what kind of cake I wish I had right now? I really wish I had, carrot cake. Or lemon cake. That'd be so good. That'd be very good. Dreadnought. I'd be good if I switched Pokemon. As much as I really want Soren. Dreadnought is like a water rock, I think? I'll still go with Park at least. That's wrong for either lemon drizzle or banana bread from last week, but you can't find any. Oh no! Aw, what the heck? Ain't it funny how English feel more prone to make the exact errors in the language? I think that's because we just don't really care. I'm like halfway certain it's because just we just don't care. Oh, there's the crowd. Crowd is just going along. Yeah, the colors are really cool. Yep. Big fish. Big. Big angry fish. I know, but honestly, if English is like native language, there just comes a point where you just don't really care anymore. Oh, she feels so cool. That's my time is spent hearing people complain about English being weird. Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. Yeah, it's like 3 languages stacked on top of each other in a trench coat. That is English. Ooh, that was not a lot. That was critical hit though. Well, that was critical hit. Ooh, thanks. Okay, just healing a bit. Good. Max strike. That's a normal type. Okay. So still good. Speed fell. No. How could you? No. Drena would benefit from that too. I think one of the few things about Black English that doesn't have gendered words. That is very true. Yeah. I think English is one of the few that really doesn't have gendered words. Which I'm very happy about too. Like, whole. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like, there, and there. Red and red. Well, red and red, which are 2 different types of reds. Got to say that. Oh, and also, 2, 2, and 2. The 3 types of 2s. There's... It's so dumb. Oh no, no worries. I still get, the 2, the T-O, and the other 2, the T-O-O, confused sometimes. Explain to me is what Q is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the letter Q just finally having its time. Having its time to shine. I think. I don't know. I'm just trying to guess. Why does it have 2 E's? For support. I forgot about that Q. Well, there's also the fact that there's Q as in like queuing someone in, and also Q as in like a pool cue. Like when you used to play pool with. Like that type of Q. I can't speak. Ah! Brain is going burr. Brain, go burr. Bah! Yeah, words like that too. Hey. Wait, this middle plant, that is very rare. I'm trying to think of words. I know like very few Spanish words because of Duolingo. Very, very few Spanish words because of Duolingo. I'm just trying to think. I know that I get like the plural of like the quiero, quiere, queremos, queremos. I think that's how you pronounce it. I cannot remember for the life of me. Now, I know that I can like confidently read. I know that I can like confidently read Spanish to an extent. Learn Scottish. Secondary language and so very clearly taught here. Ooh! I know that that's one that I want to learn as well, but I'm also like going back and forth between Spanish and Portuguese. I only know like 2 words in Portuguese, and that is boy and girl, which is menino and menina, I think, and 100% sure, but I only know like the 2 words in Portuguese. That's about it. Been learning Latin because I'm a masochist. I mean, that's fair. Latin is pretty cool. Yeah. Just it's like all together, just menino, or yeah, menino, or a menino, I think, like the boy, and a menina, the girl. And apparently THA means yes, but if you use it in front of a sentence, it can also mean a or the. Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. I know, that's very fair. That's still very cool though. Is learning more languages, let's go. One thing that I really want to learn, but I'm having difficulty like trying to find Scottish lessons. Like, that is, yes, but if you say that I'm not even gonna pronounce that, it means I am tired. Oh, okay. Huh. That's actually really cool though. Yes, I'm sorry. Can this be strong enough to challenge the champion? It's pronounced ha mi I don't know. Wait, is ha I or am? I don't know. Both. The language can be confusing sometimes. Excuse me. That's fair. Gary, be careful. You might lose your professional. I know. Just shaking the hands. Yeah. Shaking hands. Handshake. The fire gym leader. Ooh, that one. I know that I cannot use bug type. I could probably use Park actually still. And a Park just may be my main for the fire type too. Never let it go now. I won't. Wait. Wait, hold on. Can you guys see this? You can. It's okay. The memory has been saved. The memory has been saved. Memory saved. Let's go. Oh, cat is awake. Hello, cat. Out of I'm pretty sure I also screenshot the handshake core memory. I mean, that's very fair. Ooh, whirlpool? Ooh, okay. Replica of Nessa's... a replica of Nessa's uniform? Ayo? I'll still stick with the water type though. No, not water, flying. Still stick with flying because the flying challenge. Oh! Hi, hello people shy. People shy. Just people shy, hello. Water, trader? No, I would never. Also, yes, hello. Like, oh, I was expecting you I was expecting to see you here. Hello. Oh, hi, hello. Hello. Now I could play this game before. Who would have thought? I've never played this game before. What? No. Yeah, just what a funny coinky dink. What a funny coinky dink. Oh, it's okay. I won't keep you waiting. I will keep the chairman waiting as long as possible, but I would never keep you waiting, Alina. Ah. No, come back. This pretty woman. Pretty. Wait, run to the lady. Absolutely. Just run. All healed up. Cool. Wait, also gonna save real quick. Save. We run to the lady. We run. We run. Oh, and Sonia's here too? Oh. Game, you're spoiling me. Why is Rose here? I don't know. I guess because we kind of have to talk with him. But like, come on. You're ruining the view. Like, come on. I guess. If I'm able to sit with Sonia and Olina, I guess. Oh. Olina. The poison him. I might. I just might. Seafood town. Obvious choices, local cuisine. Everything on the menu is delicious. Let the pretty woman sit. Let her sit. Me off so much less I don't need. Oh, dude, I know, right? Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, you're in a restaurant. You went through all of this to make it be like this restaurant is like a main thing, and you don't even eat. Like, bruh. 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 Draw and ruin that cute napkin, though. I would at least ruin Rose's. Just kinda flatten it. I just wanted yummy seafood. To be fair, seafood is very good. It's been so long. The first time I had seafood, it was in San Diego. It was so good. It was so delicious. I want more. I know that there's a seafood place near me as well, and I've had seafood from there too, for sushi. It's so good. I want to get more, but also the place that I got it from was so expensive. That's like a rare treat. You know about Dynamaxing? Oh yeah, they're just talking about Dynamaxing stuff. Salmon. Yeah, salmon is also really good. Especially salmon smoked on the grill too. Oh, so good. Or specifically, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's like red wine soaked cherry wood. Or just either applewood or just plain old cherry wood. It is so good when you smoke it, when you smoke salmon with it. Ah, Amazing! I'm getting hungry. Also, I don't know why, but I'm getting just more fresh Scottish salmon. Ooh, that sounds really good. It's really good. Yum yum yum. Nom 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 nom. If they're not eating already making crayfish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Soon it will be eating hour, I promise. Grab them out like with your own bare hands. Ooh, just extra fresh. Make sure that you descale and fillet it correctly though. Just do not want to eat just fish bones. They are very sharp. Very sharp. Yeah, trout and primary. Ooh, trout is also really good. Oh, took care of them from eggs? Ooh, nice! I think when I was in like 5th or 6th grade, we were taking care of crayfish. I think I was the only person in my group that would pick them up and everything. Wait. Ow! I'm sorry about that, I apologize. That came out of nowhere, I couldn't mute in time, I'm sorry. Ow! That one hurt. That sounded painful? Yeah, it was very painful. Pigeon sneeze? Bruh, what do you mean? I'm not a pigeon. Yeah, when I was in like 6th grade or so, we were taking care of crayfish, and I was like the only person that would even like pick them up. And they had their pincers taped so that they couldn't like pinch us or anything. I would just kind of like let the little guy just kind of like crawl on my hand. It felt really weird, but it was still very cool. I liked it. Very cool. By the end of that section, or like the science section thing, we could take them home, but unfortunately my mother didn't allow me to take it home, even though I really wanted to. Oh, hi cat, are you awake? I'm sorry if my sneeze woke you up. Oh no, the pretty lady's gone. Okay, we still have this pretty lady. Yeah, no, I don't think the cat liked me sneezing. I startled her. It's okay now, she's just kind of sitting on the floor and glaring at me, like, why? Thrilling. Ooh, yes, go get cake. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, a TM? Retaliate. Ooh. Gets revenge for a fainted ally. Ooh, nice. I might teach a Pokemon that. Ugh. Ah. I don't know why I was yawning. Oh, hi up! Oh, jeez! Just so much lore is just being thrown at my face. Like, oh, okay, alright. Vale's making all kinds of sounds today. Yeah. It's mostly because I'm like half tired and also just I have less of a filter with the sounds that I make. Because throughout the day, I make just a wide variety of sounds. I usually hold back when I stream, but today apparently no holding back for me. Oh, hello other cat. Hello roommate cat.
Nope, no, you come here. I want to hold you and pet you and cuddle you.
Let it free. I will. Hold on. I have cat. I have cat with me. I have roommate's cat. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. Let the sounds free. Maybe? Hold on. I'm trying to get her like just like go into the mic. Yes, I can see the bar going up. You guys can hear the purrs. Let's go. Alright, down we go. And that is today's purring content for the day. Alright, where do we go? Is it the cat purring or is it the little guy? Technically cat. Although, now my head... Hi! How are ya? But, headcanon, the little guy in the shoulder, purrs. Oh, wait. Can I get any... Wait, any Zubats? Yeah, though, the cave is really pretty. What? What? Stop. I don't care. Oh my god. Bruh. At least your theme is good. You're still annoying though. Like, bruh, please. Too much lore. Exactly. Yeah, just change your clothes, then we'll fight. Like, you need a better outfit than that, my dude. Ooh, a bite is super effective, you say. Hey, yo. How? Aha. L. Death. 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 Very chewy. Like one of those chewy gummies. Yes, yes. Gothia, that is... Psychic... Actually, wait. That would actually be pretty good. I know, Park's just gonna sweep them all. Oh. Itty baby. I'm so sorry. It's a dragon. No, it's a dragon now. It was a fish before. So true, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before it was just a tiny, itty bitty fish. And now it's just giant dragon. Giant angry dragon, not that. I am so happy though that Gyarados is a flying type so I can use it. Oop, level up. Still should be good. I'm still so sad that I can't catch you, like, bruh. I won. Dead. May as well try out this move. What was the name of that one ghost Pokemon? Ghastly? Like the giant gas ball? Yeah, that's Ghastly. That turns into Haunter, that turns into, Gengar. I know it's not fun. The thing that I hate most about Ghastly is the fact that I can barely tell, like, the shiny form of it. Then when it evolves into Gengar, you can barely see it at all, like, bruh. Are you gonna do the fairy pony? Yay! Oh, Ponyta, I am so sorry, Ponyta. You're adorable. I'm sorry. Ponyta, I'm so sorry. You're adorable, and I don't like to hurt you, but I'm so sorry. He didn't want to trust your Pokemon in battle, then doesn't even attack you. Oh, I know, right? That is annoying. I think that's also the reason why I can't remember beating any Ghastlies in recent. Because I always avoid them as much as I can. Because I avoid. L. Suffer. Based. Yeah. No, just ignore. You just lack talent. You sure about that? Taking care of your mental health? Oh, that's so true. Okay, good. Nice. More. More. Nom nom. Not weak, just lack talent. Dude, I beat you with only flying type Pokemon. I'm currently going through a challenge that is only flying type Pokemon. But yeah, sure. Alright. Sure. Uh-huh. Alright. To show at least you tried. Oh wow, thanks. I got your card, I guess. Yeah, nice coat, nerd. Nerd. Alright, and now we continue. Hypnosis, when I was already paralyzed, I couldn't even defeat him. And everything. Oh no! Oh, that sucks. I know that that's a Pokemon right there. And I know that it's Dark Electric type. Not bad, you just lack talent. Oh, it lasted 20 minutes? Oh. Also, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is like a teeny tiny little Pokeball right there. That is a Stunfisk. Dan? Ah! Person. Hello. Francis. You look like Francis. Dan? Who's Dan? Dan? Machick? Dan? Hello? Dan? Got lore. Oh my god. Oh my god. We got more lore. More lore for chat. Nice. One chat. Wicked. Name the little entity Dan. To be fair, I think I already came up with a name for the little guy, but I can't remember it. I feel a little bit bad, I won't lie. Like, it's either... Ooh, Crunch? Ooh, yes please. I'm gonna get rid of Splash. Middle name Dan. Exactly. Perfect. Dan is his second name. Yes. But very true. I can't remember exactly. Hold on. Let me see. I know I put it somewhere. Hold on. I think it's Gilbert. It's either Gilbert or Zebo. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those two though. Because technically I have like two little guys. I just can't remember which one is which, because they are very similar. Now keep on. Now keep both moves. No! Don't care. Tiny Pigeon has grown. It'll be either like Gilbert or Zebo. One of the two. And ball. Ooh, desk balls. Nice. Okay, okay. Oh, no. Yep. Gilbert Dan Zebo. Very true. So you can't go over there. Well, oh. Thank you. Hey, hello Claire! It's been a while. I hope you're doing good. Wah. I hope you're doing good, Claire. It's been a bit. Claw. Duration and multi-turn moves such as bind and wrap. Okay. Yee! Well, thank you for stopping by. Hope you've been doing good. Oh. Again. out of you. I just, bruh. Just let me pass. Hello. Hello, hello. Hope you've been doing well, Claire. Right. Yeah, sure. Ah! Ah! Can't so long, but hope you have a good stream. Yay! Thank you, thank you. I don't know how long I'm gonna stream for. It'll still be like a little bit. But I don't know how long I'm gonna stream from. But thank you for stopping by. Remember to take care of yourself. Hope you're doing good. When the ghastly finally killed my Pokemon, the game just went. Didn't die to impress. Nice. Oh, Ayo, Sims updated. Let's go. The Sims. Sims. Sims update. Let's go. Done. Meow. That works, I guess.
It's late-ish.
That was rude. Oh, I hear pets moving around. Oh my god. Hiccups. Probably gonna do a waterfall on Evil. Nah. Go with this one. No, not the baby dolls. That wasn't on me anyway. Ah. Oh wow, they just don't like the Wooloo. Yep. Die. Yeah. Oh wait. Wait, are you gonna evolve soon? Too fluffy. And they just didn't like the fluff. They just didn't like how fluffy the Wooloo was. SMH. And ooh. Okay, that one. I know for a fact I can't use dark type moves on, so I'll just continue to use waterfall. Hey, almost one hit too. Nice. Also, I gotta say, I love the animation for the waterfall. Wooloo's almost dead. Lovely. Oh boy. Huh. Well, you kept doing. You could have just kept on doing the double kick at the feeble. Alright, I guess we're going waterfall on the feeble then. Alright. Sounds good. Yeah, two flying Ted, let's go. Let's go. No, it's full flying type team. Let's go. Yo. Let's go. Flying types for the win. Let's go. Oh my god, Soren, stop leveling up, please. And then one last Pokemon. And oh, two. Critical hit, yeah. Now it's my turn. My turn. Ah! L. Die. Death. Death to thee. Let's go. Level up. Very nice. You're gonna yell at us because they up and you lost. The puns. Please don't. Nah. No, you really wouldn't have it. Would not have had a better chance. What happened to those two? That's such a depressing thing to say. I have no idea. Honestly, not a clue. Like, oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, look at the big guy. Look at him go. Also, I saw shiny. I saw shiny. Shiny. Look at him go. He going. He going. Oh. Oh. A little bit faster. A little bit faster. Oh. You going. You going. Also, this game's gives so much money. Oh, dude, I know, right? Like, I don't even have, the coin thing either. Like, whoa. Ah! Trap. Sand. Yee, I got more sand. So much sand. No. Goodbye. Whap! Nope. Go this way? No, I bet! Hold on, I see flying type. I must have it. No, I must have flying. Must have flying. Must have flying. No! You, lore, go away. Lore, go away. I see the flying type Pokemon. I need it. I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give me the flying. Give me the flying. I don't care about lore. Nope, don't care. Nope, no, nope. I'm ignoring you. I'm ignoring you. I have my sights set on a flying dragon. Let me go. I want to see. I want to have the flying dragon, old man. Yes, hello, old man. Go away, go away. Just let me have the flying dragon. I want the flying dragon. It's been so long since I had a new flying type. Give me, give. No! Go back, go back, go back. No, you go back. No, we're going back. We're going back in the cave. We're finding the Noibat again. No. We're finding the Noibat. Yep. And he was literally just an old man jogging. Oh, that is just a little old person. Ooh, another flying type. Okay, wait, hold on. Going back in. Noibat. Give me. No. Hold on. Where did the Noibat go? I need the dragon. Give me the dragon. Give me the dragon. Give me the dragon. Give dragon. Okay, hold on. We're gonna just reload this area real quick. I hear cats just kinda... Nope. Just give me the dragon. I saw a dragon. I saw the bat. I don't think it's gonna show up. It will. It will. I will just become so depressed if it doesn't. I will become very depressed. Boom! Just so much depression. It will show up again. I saw it. It can spawn here. I know it can. I saw it. I'm getting it. The Lord decided to make your challenge more challenging. Oh, absolutely. Why is it only Wimpod just spawning? Oh, just so much more annoying. Like, bruh. Also, I'm just gonna beat you. Oh no! I saw the Noibat. Flying, you say? Flying, you say? Flying type? Flying. I saw the Noibat. I saw it. I saw it. And then I got into a battle. Looks like Lupin. He does, yeah. A little bit. He does. Oh, no, I'm not holding back. No. This is what you get. This is what you get. What you get. Is that how you spell the name? I think so, yeah. Lupin? Yeah. Clay, it's okay. I knew what you're talking about. It's okay. It's okay. Pat, pat, pat. You're good. You're good, Clay. Ooh, another rock type, you say? Well, don't mind if I do. Rock snake versus water snake. Who will win? Who will win this battle? Let me take a wild guess. There we go. Who would have thunk? Tiny pigeon leveled up. Oh, who would have thought? Who would have thought that the water type would have won? And I bet it. Noibat, but also. Wait, hold on. Nope, I see you. No, you get over here. No, I don't care. Come on. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Stay! Thank you! Yee! Bat boy. Bat dragon. Bat dragon flying. Flying dragon. Flying. New flying type. Let's go. Okay. Hopefully you're a tiny bit over leveled. Fight should be good as long as we don't do waterfall, because waterfall does a lot of damage. Okay, okay. That was a good amount of damage. Please stay in the Pokeball. Okay. Oh, first try. First one. Let's go. Okay. Cool. Yee. You got a new flying type. Let's go. New flying. Yee, flying dragon. Go. Hunt for ripened fruit. Okay. Name. Okay, what is the name of this one? Noibat, Bat Dragon, female. But also that doesn't really care because I named female Butterfree Gerald. Because Gerald. Let's see. What would be the name of this Noibat? Benjamin? Perfect. Hold on. Benjamin. Perfect. Okay. Benjamin would be really good to have for, like, final stuff. Tiny Pigeon, I think I have, the ghost type gym leader in this version. At least I'm like 90% certain, but I can't remember. So I'm gonna have Pigeon in my party for just a little bit longer until I can, like, know for certain. Honestly, I might go with yeah, no, I'm gonna switch out Headache. There we go. Cool. New flying type got. Let's go. Bye bye Headache. No more migraines. If another Noibat spawns, I will definitely get that again. Ah, Noibat. Alright. And then there was a Hoot Hoot. So I think is also normal flying, but can learn a lot of psychic moves, I think. Whoop! Speaking of. The one bug. Owl. Electric types are gonna be fun. Oh dude, I fear for the electric types. I already had a close encounter with electric types outside of just outside of the grass gym, and I had to beat them, and I was under-leveled by a lot. It was so much fun. So fun. Yeah, no. Oh, dude. Electric types? Yeah, no. Park is gonna stay just far away. Just so far away. Considering flying and water, yeah, no, that's like 4 times. 4 times damage. So, no. You know, Park's gonna stay far away from any electric types that I see out. Rah! Stand the ball. Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I can't remember if any of the gym leaders have electro-type moves. I sincerely hope that they don't. Cause at least next is fire. So Park can just like one-shot everything there. No, but electro types, they're gonna cause me some pain. They're gonna cause me a lot of pain. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Nickname for owl. Nickname for noctowl. I'm very tempted to just name this one Bat. Hold on. Wicked. There we go. Perfect. Hold on. What moves do you know? Reflex, Psycho Shift, Air Slash, Extrasensory. That is good. I think oh wait, the Batian team with an actual bat called Benjamin. Exactly. Hold on, I think I'm gonna just switch out Tiny Pigeon, I think. There we go. There we go. Wicked. Whoa. Okay. Ah. Too many Pokemon. Okay. There we go. Bye-bye, tiny not pigeon. Bye-bye, not tiny pigeon. Wait, any shinies? I'm gonna go extra slow here. Shiny! Feather. Shiny feather. Feather shiny. Hold on. Looking for all the shinies. Looking for so many shinies. Shinies? Aha! Ooh, a pretty feather. It's shiny, so therefore I like. It's mine now. Whoop. So many feathers. Many feathers. Oh, another one, another one. Mine. Ah! Cool. Oh, is this where we started? Oh yeah, this is where we started. Oh wait. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's the fire gym. I think I'm gonna go into the fire gym. Like, beat the fire gym and everything. And then I think I will also just end stream as well. There we go. Cool. I don't care that there's rare Pokemon. Don't care. Oh wait, hold on. False swipe. It's last condition. Yeah, no. There shouldn't be electric gym leaders here. Oh, thank the gods. Okay. Okay, I'm all good then. I'm good. I am all good. We're good. So no gym leaders to just one shot my team. And that would have been just bad. That would have been so bad. Fine. Fine. I guess I'll go to sleep. I guess. Meh. Oh hey, it's been a while. Oh yeah, she has electric type. She scares me. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, her last Pokemon is electric and dark type. I sincerely hope that she just doesn't use any electric type. Team Yell just doesn't need to protect her, she'll just kill your entire team. Oh no, absolutely. Like 100%. Also, speaking of Team Yell, there they are. Just, there they are. Yeah, no, just, Marine will...
Oh no, I forgot about that. Brah.
Yeah, hello Team Yell. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. I do like, Marine's thing, though. It's very nice. Very good. Team Yell and Team Skull have the same energy. They do. They do, and it's amazing, and I love it. Yeah. Honestly, like, I won't lie. The music throughout this entire game, like, is really good. Like, 100% just spot on. Like, they went above and beyond. Very nice. Oh, super posted. Ocean. I know, 100%. Like, most of the budget went into music. And then the team that got the least was just their graphic design. Especially when you get higher up. So true. Very true. I think it's also, the fact too that they even added cheering into the music as well. Like with the gym, like when you're battling the gym, when you are battling the gym leader, the crowd is cheering along with the music, and that is amazing. Like they did not have to go that far, but they did. It's amazing, like, 100%. More Pico. Oh wait, that's electric. No. That is electric. Electric dark. Yeah, no, Park is gonna hide. Soren's gonna come out to play. Park is gonna hide. Just gonna cower real quick. We're gonna send out the shiny. Okay. So Rock Smash should be super effective, maybe? This move expresses my feelings. Okay, dark. Okay. Oh my god. Yeah, they're the same level. Okay, now it should be 100% dark. Angry little guy. So angry. Okay, good. Just a little bit of stress. It's all good. It's okay. Okay, just gonna roost. Just gonna heal. No, please. Oh my god, that was loud. Ow. That kinda hurt a little bit. That kinda hurt just a tiny bit. Aw. You're soul screen. No, absolutely, just 100%. just a little, just a tiny bit of screaming from the soul. It's all good. Wait, why'd I send out a psychic type? Oh no, I have done an oopsies. I have let out my inner bird. Whoopsies. Sorry about that. Apologies. Yeah. To be fair, I don't think pigeons like pigeons screech like that. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. It's okay, it's all good. It's okay. Yeah, pigeons just go. Pigeons just go like that. Pigeons just go. That's it. They don't screech like I just did. We literally just talked about electric type. I know, right? We just cannot stop jinxing. Like, come on. Okay, they're like if you merge a cat and a rat and a bird together. It's very true. Okay, air slash? Yeah, no. Bruh! And if the rat is healed, then ugh.
Yikes.
Okay, we are just gonna heal Soren up all the way, bring Soren back out. I have a feeling that Batty is gonna die here. Yep, there goes Batty. Okay. Okay, go for Soren. Okay, and then Soren should be able to take at least one hit. At the very least, just one hit, and then it should be good. Because right now it's fully dark. This should be good. Cool. Okay. Oh, okay. Loyal partner, Batty, has fallen. Has been caught for like 20 minutes max. Just joined the party. Already just nothing. Wants to learn the move Scary Face. No, that's okay. Thank you though. And out a ground. It should be okay. Yeah, ground. Nope, no more electric. No more electric types, so we're good. Burn out, burn out. Burn, burn. Rock Smash maybe? Cool, okay. Okay, so no more electric type. We're good. We're all good. We're okay. We are doing amazing. Good, we're good. Okay, and one more Rock Smash, and we're all good. Cool. Alright. If she had one more electric type, we would have been destroyed. Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, out of all the people, I fear her the most. Oh hey, Park! Park is leveled up, let's go! Yeah, I feel Marine the most. Simply because of, like, the one electric type. That's, like, technically Dark Electric, I think. The Park. Good Park. Oh, jeez. Jeez. Just, someone's just base is just booming right now. My goodness. Okay, everything's all healed. Okay. Morning.
Hello.
Her rat walks like a rabbit. Oh no, absolutely. I don't know why, it's very disconcerting. Ooh, two burn heals. Thank you. I don't think I'm gonna be needing those though. Because a water type. Water flying. Urara. Urara. Okay. Okay, we're good. Why are you staring at me? Do not stare at me. Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, dark, fairy, dragon, grass. I'm just not realizing that there are... Okay, okay, so I have a fighting type. So... the Swoobat will definitely be very, very needed. Like, absolutely 100% needed. And I do have it. There's also Blimp here too, so that's good. Park is still good. And Park would be like the main one. Okay. I have another one for you. No? Okay. Again with the lore! Alright, please, can we continue? Thank you. Okay. Stop. Yeah, just stop with the lore. Yep, ready. No, I'm already in my uniform, please! Let me represent the flying types. I swear, bruh. Just let me stay with my flying type uniform. Please. Ich. SMH. Hello? Your mission for the fire gym is this. Oh, okay. So what you mean to say is catch all the Pokemon, you say? Alright. And think about what the person will do as well. I can do that. I can do that. Let's see, where you at? Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Hey, no, stop sending up Pokemon. No, no, no. How many Pokemon do you have? No. No, no, no. I don't think so. No. No more Pokemon for you. That's 2. Aha! I've done it. Okay, now we have to be a little bit careful. Use no water type moves. Wait, do they have an ice gym leader? I think they do? Not 100%. I don't know if it's in this one or in Shield, though. I'm not 100% certain. Alright, and then... go. And then we catch. I sadly cannot use any of them, though. No fire types, only flying types. I'm sorry. Yeah, they just all go in the box. Just all in the box. Into the box they go. Okay. Nope. Because we don't want to get attached. There we go. I don't think the gym got the gym guys really like me because I'm just beating up their Pokemon before catching that. Like, oh, you gotta think of what the gym trainer will do. Okay. I will just beat them all up. There we go. Kill the bug. Yes. Bug must die. Bug must die. Death. Wicked. And then I think person has one more. Huh. Alright. I mean, it won't really do anything because... Sandlet! Oh, that is like my favorite Pokemon, but I can't use it because it's not flying. Sad. So much sad. Okay, that's 2. This should be good. Okay, the thing is... I hated that Pokemon because of the Sun and Moon challenge. Honestly, that is very fair. That is extremely fair. You know, the challenge in Sun and Moon with the, Sandlet and the Evolve form, I did not expect to catch it. It was a pain. Such a pain. Ooh, Benjamin has leveled up again. Let's go. Nice. Alright, Litwick. No, it was just not good. Not a good time. Alright. Okay, now here's the thing. We could catch this Pokemon as well. We could absolutely do that. That would also mean, just beating up the other trainer's Pokemon as well still. Mostly because I think that'd be very funny. Sandlet. You know what? We're gonna catch this one as well. No! Bruh! Bruh! They knew! They knew! Hold on, no. Thank you. The person attacked me, so I attacked them back. It's only fair. Never mind the fact that, I was gonna attack regardless. Like, no, I would never. Oh, only the one. Okay. So that would be just details. I would never. However, technically they attacked me first, so therefore I attacked them back. Aha. Ow. And then one more. Ow. Cool. Critical hit. Okay, that should be easy to catch then. Bro, stop baiting me. No, in the ball. Stay in the ball now. You stay. Aha! Wicked. Another win. Another win under our belt. Let's go. No nickname because we cannot use it. Can I heal up first? They're all just like glaring at me like, you just beat up our Pokemon. What the heck? Why? Wait, hold on, can I heal up first? Can I heal? Okay, cool, I can. Wicked. Cool. Thank you for letting me heal. Alright, and then that. You know, they were so close to just committing so many acts of violence against me. Which honestly, I don't blame them. Okay, soft sand, ground type, find wrap. What's up? What is up, kitty? Pretty feather. How did Wicked be? I was hoping that you were gonna pick up on that. I I was hoping that you wouldn't pick up on that. To be honest, I have no clue. Oh hey, there's a gym leader. Oh. Is it Mumbo Jumbo? No. It's actually been a while since I watched a Mumbo Jumbo. Jogging old man. Look at him go. Look at him jog. He go. But honestly, I have no idea why I started it. Or why I started just saying Wicked at times. I have no idea. And I picked up on it from your first stream back. Oh! Oh, I see! Yeah, to be honest, not a single clue. I have no idea why I started saying it. I won't lie. Just not a single clue. It's not very common to hear an American say it. Oh, gotcha. Oh, is it really a British thing? Oh, whoops. You know, that's probably why I confused, Prometheus then. When I said that I was American. That's probably why I confused them a bit. Yeah, no, I have no idea why I started saying it. It just kind of happened. It's very common. Oh. Whoopsies. You know, like being completely honest, I have no idea why I started saying it. Or when. I don't know. Also, don't mind me. I think I'm just gonna, like, just one-shot this entire team here. Just real quick. Soren, level up again. Let's go. I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't say anything about it before because I thought maybe it was like a one-off thing or something. Then he kept saying it. Just like, huh, something's not right here. Wait a minute. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. Yeah. I'll be honest, whenever I do say it, it just kind of happens and usually I don't, pick up on it until it's, like, pointed out to me. That's about it, though. How do you burn a water type? I have no idea. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Like, huh? Ow. Tell me your secrets. Stop using bite! Thank you.
Oh, true. Evaporation. That is true, that is true. Okay, I am gonna heal up a little bit though, because, yikes. Let's see. Just super potion, because otherwise the bite will kill me. Hi, hello again, kitty cat. HP, use bite. I think I'm gonna go with a burn heal. Should be fine. Yep, okay. Okay. And then one more super potion to get back up to full. I knew it. Bruh. Bruh. Okay, maybe if I do a burn heal again, it'll just use bite, and then I can quick use waterfall again. Because this guy might use Willow Wisp instead of bite. Yep, there we go. Aha! I read. And oh, what? What? It's on like 1 HP. What is this? What is this? Bruh. No. It's on like 1 HP. There we go. Cool. Okay, there we go. Ooh, level up again, nice. Ooh, and Blimp also leveled up too, very nice. Okay, I still should be good with Bart. I still should be good with Bart. Bigger bug. Yes, big bug. Big snake. Big water snake. Big bug. Then I think this is technically the first time we see the changes like different too. Yeah, look at it. So cool. Yeah, he's so into the battle. Look at him go. Then that, so fire type should be less effective, I think. He's so into the battle, let's go. Oh. Okay, cool. So good, so good. Oh, fire spin? Okay. No, definitely just gonna chuck a super potion real quick. Cool, that's good. That's 2. Vortex, then burn. Okay. I can still last if I do one more max geyser. Oh, so close. I know, right? It looks so cool. Like with how the underneath of it just glows. And it is so cool. Very cool. That. Vortex. Okay. And then double check rain, boost water type moves, and lowest power fire type. Okay. Okay. Then more waterfall. Cool. And death. Let's go. Let's go, Park. Let's go. Ooh, and 2 level ups with Fushigi and Menjin. So, assurance? What's assurance? If the target already has taken some damage in the same attack as... how can I use... There we go. Benjamin level 24, air cutter, sure. Probably the team. Wait, nope. Supersonic. Just for now. Yeah. Oh. This is a little bit of a depressing sight because of all the rain and everything. I feel a little bit bad. Great Pokemon and a great trainer. It's no surprise that you won. Oh yeah, no, the drama is only increased because of the rain too. Like, oh. Oh no. Wait, hold on, I'm actually... There we go. So much, so dramatic. Such a drama queen. Fire badge. Is he just in a perpetual state of jog? I think he might be. Hey. Nice. Now catch Pokemon up to level 35. Oh, definitely. Like 100% sweaty hands. Yeah. I'm still mad that I have to change uniforms and not just have my flying type uniform. Because what the heck, man? Come on. The trend is science. They are. They are. SMH. What the heck? I don't want the fire uniform. I want to wear the flying uniform while battling the gym leaders. Like, come on. Like, come on, please. And make way to hammerlock. Okay. Yeah, game, just please. We beg. Please. Alright, and now we just have to go to the front. Not again! Please! Oh. No, no more talking, no lore. No more talking, no lore, please. No! Please. Oh, hey. Hey! Nessa, you return! Hello, Nessa! Hello, Nessa. Sorry, I just coughed. That cough sounded an awful lot like a camera sound. I wonder where that came from. Can I heal my Pokemon first? No, let me heal. Let me heal, please. What the heck? Oh, lots of rain. Yep, so all the way that way. Maybe I could find Togekick, Togepi, Togekiss? Oh, not you again. Please. Bruh. I don't care. Bruh. Feed. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, and did I at least able to heal? Thank you. Okay. Cool. Alright. Unfortunately, I got a text message and I unfortunately have to go a bit earlier than I thought I was going to, unfortunately. But still, 3 hours? Still pretty good. Still good, still decent. I won't stream tomorrow. Oh, wait. There's like a 50-50 chance of me streaming tomorrow. Yeah, average Pokemon game time. Yeah, about like 3 hours or so. I don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow or not, but be sure to check out my Twitter if, just so that you guys can check to see when I'm gonna stream. Because if it's not gonna be tomorrow, which is Saturday, then I will stream on Sunday and Monday. Yeah. Okay, we managed to beat the gyms. We got more. Yeah, and the PNG tuber as well. PNG tuber was made by the White Rice, aka Rice, who is amazing. You should definitely check White Rice out. Also, I also forgot that I have this command as well. The maker of my sub badges and emotes is done by Izzy Fossil. Be sure to go give her a follow as well if you're not following her on Twitter. And it is adorable, and if you're able to, be sure to commission her as well because she is Carrie, you're so mean. Because our style is very, very nice. I like it. Bruh. You're so mean, Carrie. Anyway, this will be where I end for today. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and everything. It was very fun. Got to learn about all the sounds that I make. Let's see. Ooh, I see that cats. Hold on. Cat time. Done. Gonna raid kitty cats. Also, hello VOD watchers, hope you're doing good as well. And also be sure to like get something to eat, something to drink. Yee, the cats. Gonna raid adorable _ kittens. So be sure to join the raid if you want. Be nice to the VOD watchers. Alright. Yeah, I'll keep it like this. But yeah. Again, thank you. I don't think I forgot about you. Yeah, thank you for sticking around and everything. Not 100% sure if I'm gonna stream tomorrow, but be sure to keep an eye on Twitter. I might, and I'll post something for sure if I'm gonna stream. We'll see. Alright. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the weekend. And I'll see you later on. Bye bye.